Hello boys and girls, I am your teacher Mrs. Rosia Pine Gallimore from the Bamboo Primary and Junior High School. Today we'll be looking at another stage of the writing process. Remember, in our last lesson we looked at the pre-writing stage. After the pre-writing stage, next comes the drafting stage. Yes boys and girls, we will be writing our first draft. Let us get right into it. Remember the stages of the writing process? Pre-writing, drafting, revising and editing, and publishing. Let us sing our cheer. Hey boys and girls! Hey boys and girls! Do you know the stages of the writing process? Do you know the stages of the writing process? They are pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. Pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. Here are the objectives we would like to achieve at the end of our lesson. Recall the stages of the writing process. Demonstrate the use of the quick write strategy in writing drafts of stories. Compile information to make a draft of a story. Okay, boys and girls, what exactly are we going to be doing? Yes, we will be drafting. But what is drafting? Alright, let me explain. What is the drafting stage? In this stage, you put the information you research into your own words. Write sentences and paragraphs even if they are not perfect. Read what you have written and judge if it says what you mean. Show it to others and ask for suggestions. Now those are only a few things you can do at the drafting stage. As we go along, we will learn more. Before we did our pre-writing, we looked at our writing prompt. Let me remind you of it. Imagine that you visited a local bun shop in your community yesterday. Write a story with the title, A Visit to the Bun Shop in My Community. Tell about the things you saw, heard, touched, smelled, and tasted. Let us review our pre-writing plan because we'll be using the information from that plan to do our first draft. Our topic, a visit to the bun shop in my community. For who characters, we said our characters would be Patrick and Sue. We said that the things that we saw at the bun shop are pastries, equipment, ingredients, and workers. Of course, the place that we are writing about is the bun shop. The writing prompt said that we visited the bun shop yesterday at 10 a.m. Why? Our reason for writing is to tell about the visit, the things seen, heard, touched, smelled, and tasted. Finally, the format for relating the story is to narrate and tell. Okay, boys and girls, now that we have reviewed our pre-writing plan, we are now going to see how best we can compile the information for our first draft. Let us review some questions that will help us in writing our stories. For the beginning, what day and time was it? Describe it. Who were the persons with you? How did you get to the bun shop? Describe the place. What did you see? What did you hear? In the middle of our story, what are the things you did while at the bun shop? What are the things you saw the workers doing? What are the things you touched and tasted? Then towards the end, how did you feel while at the bun shop? How did your visit ended? Boys and girls, I know that if you follow this plan carefully, you will be able to write a lovely draft for your story. Let's meet Tony. Tony is a grade 3 student, and he went ahead and started his first draft. Would you like to take a look at Tony's first draft? I know that it will help you in writing your first draft. Here is Tony's first draft. Yesterday, I visited the Bun Shop in my community at 10 a.m. It is a small shop which is beside the library. It is painted blue with a red roof. It has 3 brown doors, one at the front, one at the side, and the other at the back. It has a big yard with lots of fruit trees and plenty space to play. My friend Patrick and Sue come along with me. They were so happy to be there. We walked all the way from our homes to the Bun Shop. The day was sunny and bright. Standing in the yard, we could hear lots of noise coming from inside the shop. While at the shop, we talked with the owner, Miss Sherry. She is a nice person. We watched the workers as they mixed ingredients together to make the different pastries and put them in a big oven. We looked at the different equipment in the shop and touched some of them. We helped the workers grease tins and carried flour from a room at the back of the shop. We tasted freshly baked buns and bullets. They tasted good. We were happy to be at the Bun Shop. We feel as if we would not leave. At 4 o'clock, we decide to leave. Miss Cherry gave us a bag with pastries. We smiled and said thanks. As we walked home, we talked about all the things we did at the Bun Shop. We enjoyed our visit. Now, boys and girls, that was Tony's first draft. I am sure that you are eager to tell me about his mistakes. But remember, boys and girls, you are allowed to make a few mistakes at this stage, because in our lessons to come, we will edit those mistakes. Now, boys and girls, let's look at a checklist for story writing. This checklist will guide us as we write our stories. You can ask yourself these questions. Does my story begin with a setting and characters? Is the setting real? Are the characters interesting? Have I used dialogue in the story? Do the events follow in order? Does my story have a problem? Is the problem in the story solved? Is the story interesting and exciting? Now, boys and girls, you can use this checklist to write your first draft. Remember that you can feel free to do whatever you want to do. This is your first draft. Look at the questions that will help you to write your story. Use them as a guide. Let's review our objectives. Did we recall the stages of the writing process? Remember that chair? Did we demonstrate the use of the quick write strategy in writing drafts of stories? That's what Tony did. Did we compile information to make a draft of a story? Oh yes, boys and girls. Okay, use the pre-writing plan that you have to write your first draft. Remember the checklist. Check to see if you begin your story with a setting and characters. Check to see if the setting is real. Check the characters. Are they interesting? Look at how you use dialogue in the story. Make sure you do so correctly. Look at how you organize the events in your story. Are they in order? Does your story have a problem? Is the problem in the story solved? Have you used correct spelling? Have you used capital letters, full stops, commas, and the apostrophe correctly? Look to make sure that your subjects agree with your verbs. These are very important, boys and girls, and you will see why when we come back for our next lesson. Enjoy.